Hello, Megamaniacs. This is Mr. MegaManFan, and welcome back to the PC Engine Files. If you like this show or anything else that we do on this channel, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, and leave your comments below. All of that engagement is, of course, appreciated. Moto Rotor MC is the third in the Moto Rotor series for PC Engine. This one only released in the CD-ROM format, not on HuCard, and it released a little bit later in the life cycle of the console, which is why it may be somewhat obscure to a lot of people. In fact, it's late enough, being December of 1992, that I'm kind of surprised that Turbo Technologies Incorporated, or TTI for short, didn't try to bring this one to the Turbo Duo in North America, because that console could have used all the help it could get. The timeline certainly fits because the Duo got a soft launch in Los Angeles in late 1992 and a full rollout in early 1993. So this one would not have been hard to port. Very little localization necessary. It's mostly in English, and you would not know anything was weird or unusual about this game other than the word omaki in the main menu, and that just loosely translates to extra. So it's the extra features of the game, and if they just change that one word to extra, localization complete. If you've played any of the previous Moto Rotor games, you would probably have an idea of what's going on here. You're racing against computer-controlled opponents, or with the appropriate Turbo Tap, or in this case, PlayStation 5 controllers, because I'm playing it through the PS5, you would use up to 5 controllers to control 5 cars at one time maximum, or any combination of AI and human controlled up to the number of 5, but there's always going to be 5 cars on the screen, and those 5 cars will tend to blitzkrieg you if you have the AI in control, because they can do very nasty things to you. They are equipped with weapons and can pick up additional weapons by driving over them on the track. You can get hit with rockets, you can get hit with bombs, you can be driven into a wall, and this makes what would seemingly be an easy super sprint style game much more difficult than it first appears, because your only goal really is to complete a lap and cross the checkered line, and you have to do it a certain number of times in order to finish the race. But chances are you're going to get hit by so many rockets and bombs and driven into the wall so many times that you're going to be very lucky to finish anything other than last place. I did manage to pull it off once with this track that has an S shape, because for some reason I was just better at cornering going around each of these bends than the AI cars, so I managed to creep up, I believe, 3rd place, if I'm remembering this footage correctly, but maybe it was 4th. Either way, it was not dead last, and that's the only time I could pull that off. Maybe if I was making use of the weapons, I would have done even better, but I found just trying to control my car while I was constantly under attack was so difficult that I didn't even worry about trying to attack my opponents. I was just out for survival. I just wanted to get around the course. And steering may not be intuitive to you, which is a gripe I've had with previous Moto Rotor games. This one, slightly better, I guess. If you use the left and right on the D-pad, you can make 90-degree turns. That's really the only way I've found that you can effectively control the car. Sometimes, if you push up or down, you'll turn in that direction, but sometimes you won't. Left and right are really the only acceptable ways to go. And using the PS5 controller, there are 2 specific buttons that either drive you forward or drive you backward. And the square and the X are the only 2 of those buttons you will need. The others would be for the weapons I previously mentioned, but square and X. And whatever the top speed is, you pretty much want to be driving it all the time. You don't want to let your foot off the gas. When you're holding one of those buttons, just keep holding it and corner the best you can. You'll have some momentum coming around the corners, and you'll have even more if you hit one of the warp pads. There's occasionally pads that appear on the screen. They remind me of the supercharged ones you'll find in games like Mario Kart where you hit them and get a boost of acceleration. And this can make it really hard to corner, but some of them are in the lap purposefully that you have to drive over them as you're making the lap. You can't really avoid them. And there's one that's really nasty that if you hit it, it shoots you right into a corner and you're going to lose a lot of valuable time trying to back out and turn around when you get cornered up there. So it's a frustrating game. I'm not going to go so far as to say Moto Rotor MC is a bad game, but I will say it's not one that you can immediately become great at. Your best chance of succeeding is if you had any previous experience with it, and given this game is now 30 plus years old, I'm going to say the likelihood that you had experience with it, unless you were a hardcore PC Engine fan, is low. And this game is probably brand new to you if you're seeing it on PS5, PS4, Nintendo Switch, or Xbox One. All of those places, it's been made available in the digital shops of your choice. So you will definitely come across this game, and you will definitely 99.9% likely not have ever played it before. So all I can say is it's not worth it. There's a very robust suite of options at the beginning for adjusting your pixel size, overlaying filters to recreate an authentic 1990s CRT, and pause and rewind features are included. It's worthy of M2. It's something that if you saw it and said, I wanted a suite of games that had these features, this company could provide emulation of classic retro games and have all of those options included. I think you would wind up satisfied that it was robust enough to create the display with your preferred options, whether it's pixel perfect or 4:3 aspect ratio or widescreen, which I personally wouldn't do, but whatever you chose to do, I think you could do it. It's all thanks to this company. I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of their name, but I'll try my best. It's Radalaika Games SL. They've been putting out a lot of classic re-releases lately. They've been busy beavers. And not as much so as M2, but recently they put out both Moto Rotor MC and Mages and Treasures. And I'm going to look at their website and see what other games they've done recently. Mecha Bolt, Blackberry Honey, Super Onion Boy 2, Kenduro, Kansei, Gardener's Path, Forgotten Hill, Clang 2, Jinug. That's probably the one that most people would have heard about before Moto Rotor MC. Jinug was a very expensive shooter before its re-release, and thanks to being on Virtual Console, or whatever you want to call modern emulation on digital storefronts, it's now accessible to people. And the same can be said for Moto Rotor MC, which probably isn't among the top expensive games at PC Engine, but at $6.99 on a digital storefront, it's kind of worth trying, even if it's a very hard game to master. I'm Mr. MegaManFan. This has been the PC Engine Files, and thank you as always for watching. I'll see you again soon.